On November the 8th, U.S. will hold midterm elections, and the voters will elect 435 members of the House of Representatives and 35 seats in the Senate. The midterm elections have always been a battleground between the two parties in the U.S., and they are also the prelude of the next presidential election. Why do midterm elections get so much attention? The New York Times disclosed that from 2019 to 2021, nearly 100 U.S. congressmen were suspected of taking advantage of their positions to obtain insider information to trade financial assets such as stocks and bonds. It can be seen that the so-called midterm elections are just a stepping stone for U.S. politicians to abuse their power for personal gain, and once again expose the hypocrisy of American democracy. With the midterm elections approaching, U.S. security services have warned the growing threat of political violence surrounding the midterm elections. A Reuters poll showed that as many as 43% of U.S. voters fear to be intimidated at polling places, and 67% of voters worried that extremists dissatisfied with election results would commit violence after the election. The two parties in U.S. are desperate for power, leading to chaos in the elections. U.S. Vice President Harris spearheaded an attack on Democrats over immigration issues to boost support for Republicans. At the same time, the investigation of former President Trump's home search by FBI agents continued to ferment, further exacerbating political polarization and social division. With the increasingly fierce competition between two parties in the U.S., society is still engulfed by various conflicts. Livelihood issues such as gun violence, abortion rights, and the COVID-19 pandemic are difficult to solve. Meanwhile, facing the increasingly social stratification, widening racial disparities, and rising inflation, more and more American people have lost their faith in elections and American democracy. The U.S. has always boasted of the so-called free election, but in fact, the so-called electoral democracy has long been reduced to a money-burning contest between candidates, and a heightened political split as well as power and money transactions. There are various indications that this is just an election game in the guise of democracy, which fully exposes the false nature of American democracy.